Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. For a change, we are a bit early. The European Union-Turkey high-level political dialogue just took place. High Representative Vice President Mogherini, Minister Çavuşoğlu, Commissioner Hahn, and Minister Çelik will briefly speak about the meeting that just took place, and then we'll take a few questions. High Representative, you have the floor.
Thank you, Maya. It's a pleasure for me, together with Commissioner Hahn, to welcome Ministers Çavuşoğlu and Çelik to Brussels for this high-level political dialogue with Turkey. It is an essential element of our framework of dialogue and cooperation, as we reconfirmed during our last exchange with the foreign ministers of the 28 member states of the European Union in Malta last April. Following the meeting that Presidents Juncker, Tusk and Tajani had with President Erdogan last May here in Brussels, we have continued to work together in these months. We have decided to engage in frank and open and constructive conversations in various fields of our cooperation. We held a political directors meeting in Brussels in June. 4 commissioners visited Turkey in the past few weeks, while several Turkish ministers visited Brussels in the same period of time. I have on many occasions stressed the need to hold these exchanges, to listen and to talk to each other directly on all the shared interests and common challenges that the people of Turkey and of the European Union attach importance to. We often have said to each other what is important is discussing things directly in these dialogues more than talking about each other with the media. And this is exactly what we're doing, engaging in an open, frank, constructive dialogue. Today, our discussions were held just a few days after Turkey held its first commemoration of last year's attempted coup, which claimed the lives of hundreds of innocent civilians and left more than 2,000 people injured. We reiterated the European Union solidarity with all the Turkish people and with the democratically elected institutions. The meeting today provided us the opportunity to discuss issues that are very high on both of our agendas in a very comprehensive manner. We spent many hours together. And this, of course, includes elements that are fundamental to our relationship and the aspirations of the people of Turkey and the European Union. In this respect, the rule of law, the right to a fair trial, due process, the freedom of expression and assembly, good neighborly relations are key principles that Turkey has committed to, not only as a candidate country, but also as a member of the Council of Europe. We have witnessed a worrying pattern of imprisonments of a large number of members of the democratic opposition, journalists and human rights defenders in Turkey. This is why today, as we have consistently done in the past, we stress that our cooperation and dialogue need to be sustained by concrete positive steps in the areas of rule of law and fundamental freedoms, as well as in bilateral relations with each of the European Union member states. We also discussed how to enhance our cooperation in many fields in a constructive manner. Commissioner Hahn will cover some of this work, and in particular, for sure, the aspects more related to the work of the Commission. But we have discussed our cooperation in the fields of energy, security, countering terrorism, migration management, our continued support to Turkey in its efforts in hosting a huge number of Syrian refugees, economic and trade relations, but also transport and agriculture, all fields where a positive agenda can be set up and is being set up in our bilateral relations. And of course, also foreign affairs. We have a certain number of common priorities on which work has always been shared at our level, and I would like to thank Minister Çavuşoğlu for this. Our contacts have been constant, especially on Syria, where our work to support the process in Geneva and to help the process in Astana delivering results on the ground has been coordinated. We also exchanged views on the Gulf crisis. We were both coming back from Kuwait, and we discussed the need to have the fastest possible solution to these tensions. We also discussed the situation in Iraq after the liberation of Mosul, the work in Libya, as General Haftar and Prime Minister Sarraj meet in Paris. We affirmed the need to bring the parties together in the framework of the Libyan political agreement and work together to accompany the unity of the Libyan stakeholders. We shared views on the situation in Jerusalem, in the West Bank and in Gaza, reaffirming our strong belief that two-state solution is the only viable option, and the need to have a special attention to the situation in Jerusalem in these days, hoping that the Israeli authorities and Jordanian ones will work closely together to guarantee a sustainable context in Jerusalem in these hours. We also exchanged views on our relations with Iran. In particular, I thanked Turkey for their continued support to the implementation of the nuclear deal. And we also discussed our relations, respective relations to Russia, and our positions on the crisis in Ukraine, but also our support to the Ukrainian reform process. This wide range of areas of cooperation in the field of foreign and regional policy is a clear reflection of our many shared interests and common challenges, and of our willingness to continue to work with Turkey, a secure, economically vibrant and democratic Turkey. And today we discuss precisely how we can collectively take our work forward to the benefit of all our citizens. So I would like to thank my colleagues, Mevlut Omar, for an excellent dialogue we've had. Points of disagreements persist, but also a lot of common fields of work that we will continue in the months to come. Thank you.
Minister Çavuşoğlu.
Çok teşekkür ediyorum.